Hello friends, Kid Charming here. Another terrible quality in the beginning video. So it's going to be worse this time because the sun isn't peeking out over the clouds today because it's raining. So the grossness that we had to deal with today is we had 2 centimeters of snow last night. And it was still kind of snowing when I left this morning. And now it's raining. And feel kind of bullied by the weather because I had to clean my car off because there was snow on it, and where I live, the police will pull you over if your car is not cleaned off because it could cause a hazard to other vehicles behind you. I spent all that time cleaning off my car properly, only for it to rain. I mean, I'm doing the right thing because I'm supposed to clean my car off, but still. I was like, yeah, clean your car off. Ah ha ha, I'm raining. Ah. Thanks. So, I hope you guys weren't really, brought down by yesterday's video with Journey. He's doing okay. He's still limping around, but we got to just work that leg for him. Lee and I, he doesn't like it when you grab his leg and move it for him. He doesn't like that at all. So instead, or on top of doing that a little bit, we're going to just give him, when we're asking him to do a trick or something, we're getting him to give us his paw, but only that paw. And when we ask him to high five, we're only going to get him to high five with that paw. And when Lena tells him to fist bump, only with that paw. That way he's still working it. It's part of the plan. I had him going last night, though. He was just excited and just, oh my goodness. He was just going. I should have taped it, but he was just so excited. So I didn't want to whip out my phone and get him all shy. I don't know how I'm tired. I slept last night. Look, I went to bed at 9:30. Something like that. Whew. But I'm not feeling good today. So for those of you who have been watching me from the beginning, and if that's the case, then you're either related to me or a friend of mine. If I'm wearing a pop-over hoodie, it means I'm not feeling well today. Because this is my comfort hoodie. This is hoodie. This is my hug hoodie. This is the hoodie that makes me feel like I'm being hugged. Not because it's tight, but because I don't like popovers. And this one makes me feel loved because it's mine, but I gave it to Lena, and then I wear it whenever I'm not feeling good. Because technically it's Lena's. Because I gave it to her. So yeah, this is my Martok sweater. So from when I worked at Ski Martok. Now I have all their Martok sweaters, but they're zip-ups. This is my pop-over Martok sweater. And these sweaters, this specific type of sweater, was not given to the public. Afterwards, they started selling the zip-up ones at Martok to people who didn't work at Martok. But before, these sweaters were just for Martok employees. I think after this year that they made this one, they changed the design. This is the only design. This is the only time they use this design. Where it's coming across the back, on the back it's coming around a little bit. And it says Martok in splatter paint. And then it has a symbol up at the top here. Like a crest. It says East Coast Tips. I think I know why they changed that, but that's just me. So roads were gross when Lena left this morning. She had to leave at 5. because she worked at 6 o'clock this morning. The way the shadow is makes it look like I have a dimple here, but I don't. I don't have a dimple there. It's just the shadow. But yeah, I found out that my buddy Rachel, her kids, so I call them my nieces and nephew, because Rachel's family, and that's just all there is. Rachel is my other sister. I have multiple sisters. I have my real life sisters, my oldest sister Shyla, my older sister Ashton, so it goes me, Ashton, then Shyla, and then I have my younger brother Tavon. But Rachel is family. Rachel is my sister. I have another adoptive sister, like adoptive as in I have adopted her into my family, Tara, and then I have another little brother, Danny. So Danny basically lived at my house growing up anyway. So like we've been friends for like 11 years. I think in January it'll be 11 years. So I mean, we used to live at each other's houses. Like it would just go back and forth. Like we used to stay together for like almost a week. Then we'd start fighting because we'd spent too much time together. We'd take a break, and then it'd be the other person's house we stayed at for almost a week. Like that's just how it was. Like we were always there, like always with each other all the time. I've known Rachel since I moved when I moved from the middle of nowhere, Nova Scotia, to less the middle of nowhere, Nova Scotia. When I was 8, was turning 8 maybe. So I've known Rachel longer, but we weren't friends. Like we knew each other and we, went to school or whatever together, but we didn't chill, like we didn't hang out a lot. Until her mother started going to the church that my dad used to be the minister at. So then we got really close, and it's probably been, I don't know, 13, 14 years for us. Maybe even longer, maybe 15. I mean, I've been in Nova Scotia for 20. Not Nova Scotia, but I've been in this part of Nova Scotia for about 20 years. So, well, not this part. So I move a lot. I moved from the middle of I moved from New Brunswick to Nova Scotia when I was 3. And then where I moved in Nova Scotia was the middle of nowhere. Literally the middle of nowhere. Nobody's heard of it, except for one person I ended up working with at my old job, and she knows where it is because she's from there, which is weird because literally nobody's from there. And then I moved to a bigger town here in Nova Scotia. Now the thing is that from where I lived compared to where I moved from, it was huge. Like it was like a city to me because there was nothing where I was. There was no corner store. There was nothing. Like, it was literally a circle, and there was maybe, and I think I am overshooting it. 200 people, maybe. There's a small fishing community, and then we moved to a bigger town, which to me was like a city because there was like so much going on. We moved into the house that the church provided for the minister at the church. It's called a parsonage. They paid for most things. Then when my dad left, we moved closer to town. And then we moved from there to a farmhouse back closer to the sticks. And then from there we moved back into town. We were right on the outskirts of town, and then we moved like right into town, into an apartment. I was much older then, though. I was I don't even remember. I don't even remember living there in the apartment. Where was I living? Now I'm confused. So it's only a 2-bedroom apartment. I know I live with my mother. Did I block that part of my memory out? Because I know my brother lived in the apartment. Did I live? I lived in the apartment. I think my brother left. My brother slept on the couch. I honestly don't remember, guys. Like I'm grasping at straws here. I know I ended up taking over that apartment when my mom left, and I lived there until I moved in with Lena. But going from the farmhouse to there, I don't really remember. I know I'd been spending a lot of time at my girlfriend at the time's house. I was basically living there. So maybe that's why I don't remember. It's because I was basically living at my girlfriend's place at the time. And she was living with her mother. So I honestly don't remember. I remember taking over that apartment. Me and my girlfriend ended up moving in there at the time. But I don't. And then she moved out when we broke up. And I was there by myself. My sister lived with me for a while before that, before my girlfriend moved in. No, after my girlfriend moved in. No, after my girlfriend moved out. Yes, because my girlfriend and I and a friend of ours went to my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend, after she broke up with me, we went on a trip with a friend of ours, and because we had planned it before we broke up. And when we got back, my sister was moving into my apartment that was still in my mother's name at the time. Therefore, my mother had the last say. My sister moved in with me. That was horrible. I love my sister, I do. But it was horrible. I stayed in my room. I paid for everything. She paid for her food. It still irks me to this day. And I don't care if she sees this because she knows it made me angry because I didn't even have my own car. She took my car from me that I was paying for. She put gas in it, sure, but I was paying the insurance on it. I was paying for the apartment because I had taken over my mother's job. Like everything was paid by me. The electric bill, everything was paid by me. And she just lived there for free. And it really peed me off. Then she moved out. I think it was best for everybody because I was ready to kill everyone. I was there for a little bit longer, and then I met Lena, and then I ended up moving in with Lena months later, like 6 months later. So yeah, I move a lot. Yeah, back to all of this. Yeah, Rachel's been a friend of mine since I was in elementary school. So, well, we weren't really friends. We knew each other, but we really started to it must have been when I was roughly 15, right before, maybe 14. I was 14 years old. 13, 14 years old, I'd have to say, when we started hanging out, because I was like, my dad left when I was 15. So dad left when I was 15. Rachel and I had been friends for a little bit before that. So let's just say, let's give it 13. So Rachel and I have been friends for 14 years. We've known each other for over 20, or for at least 20 years. That's messed up, right? Makes you feel really old. Also, did you know that today is the 20th anniversary of the Titanic movie? It came out today 20 years ago. I remember seeing that in the drive-in. So I would have seen it the summer after it came out. Yep. And I still remember my mother covering my eyes during the sex scene. It wasn't really a sex scene at all, guys. Like, that was the tamest stuff I've ever seen in my life. They show worse than that on TV these days. But yeah, no. Mom covered my face, my eyes, and was like, no, you can't see this. And I'm like, okay. I was like 7. I didn't care. No, I would have just turned 8. I really didn't care. I was with my cousins, and we weren't really paying attention to the movie much anyway. And for those of you who don't know, because I was flabbergasted and floored when I read, like, people seriously didn't know that the Titanic actually happened. Like, it actually sank. Like, that it was actually a tragedy that happened. People were like, no, dude, that's just a movie. And I'm like, no. Actually, it really happened. April 14th, 1912, the Titanic sank in the Atlantic Ocean after hitting an iceberg. It happened. It's part of our history. And the fact that people didn't know that boggles my mind. So these people had to be 20 years or younger, or maybe a little older, because if they were young when it came out, right? Like, but I was obsessed with the Titanic when I was growing up. I thought it fascinating. I don't really know why. I just thought that it was fascinating that there was this sunken boat. And that, you know, it hit an iceberg and it sank and split in half. And I found that fascinating because I'd learned about it in school or something. And I was like, oh, really? That's a legit thing that happened? And then the movie came out and yeah. But I knew it was actually something that had happened because I had read a lot of books about it. Yeah, I read books. I can read. I just can't spell. Because I can read the words, but I can't actually spell them without looking at them. I mean, I can pronounce words. That's easy. I think, sometimes. Sorry that you had to see the back of my mouth. It's kind of gross. Oh, have you ever yawned and then you get like a tear? Have you ever been so tired that your eyes start to water? Oh, that happens to me. I want to know if like this is like normal or not. So I'm going to ask you guys. When you're really... Oh, I hate that shiver. When you're really tired and it's like your body's like, you have to go to sleep now. Like legit, you have to. Does your body do weird stuff like make you like feel like you have to move? Almost like a shiver, but not quite. Like it starts like deep in your body. That happens to me when I have to go to sleep. Like my body's like, you need to sleep now. Like, I mean, I can fight it off and eventually it'll go away. But like, this is my body saying like, you have to sleep now. Like I can't handle it anymore. Go to sleep. That's when I know I have to like, and then it starts getting worse and worse because it happens more and more often. I got another shiver because it's kind of cold. It's not as cold as yesterday. Like yesterday was like minus whatever. And it's like 4 degrees now. Probably higher. No, we have a high of 4 degrees today. So it was 3 earlier. So it's probably 4 now. But yeah, like it's, my body just does this weird thing when I need to go to sleep. I don't know. I think that maybe I'm really weird and I'm the only person that happens to, but it starts happening more and more frequently the more and more my body needs sleep. To the point where I can't really function. I just have to lay there. Like I can't actually do anything. Like I can't watch or read or do anything like that because literally my body's to the point where it's like, no. You're going to sleep now. No. You're going to sleep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a couple of videos before, I know I put it in the description for that video, but I'm going to let you know now. I remember that the province/territory that I forgot was the Yukon. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not even going to say anything. Because I'm trying to remember all the capitals of each province. Because I know that the capital of Nova Scotia is Halifax. PEI's is Charlottetown. think it's St. John's, Newfoundland. And I don't remember New Brunswick. I think maybe it's Moncton. I'm gonna have to look this up now. I used to be able to do this no problem, like right off. Like I remember Nunavut's is Iqaluit. BC's is Vancouver, I'm pretty sure. Manitoba's is Winnipeg. Quebec is Quebec City, not Montreal. I'm pretty sure. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to study now because it bothers me that I don't know this. I mean, I don't care if I don't know the birds or whatever, or the flowers of each province. That's just dumb. Someone's is Lady Slipper, and I don't remember whose that is. But the birds I never remembered. Nope, not going to remember those. But now I'm going to have to remember the capitals of each part of Canada because I feel terrible that I don't know them. Like, as a Canadian, I should know these things. I used to be able to tell you all of the different parts of Africa. I took Afro-Canadian studies, and it was actually quite fascinating. I learned of a place called Djibouti, and the only reason why I got so fascinated with Djibouti is because that's what my African-Canadian studies teacher thought was great. He's like, I love it. It just sounds so funny. And we all know why. Djibouti. There's a D there, though. Like, Django. Like, there's the movie Django Unchained. There's actually a D in front of it. And my friend actually has a dog named Django. And they didn't know how to say it, like, or their dad didn't know how to say it, or someone didn't know how to say it, and they kept calling him Django, and that's the D is kind of silent. It's not Django. It's not Django. It's just Django. But instead of saying Django, it's Django. Like you start with like your tongue against your teeth, like Django, not Django. Django. I know it sounds the same, but it's different. Trust me. And the same with Djibouti. You see, you can almost hear the D there. Djibouti. Djibouti. Yeah. I know. It just... I know how to say it. So, well, I have to learn French. I know this is coming out of nowhere, but in my brain it actually makes sense. Because I'm saying Djibouti, which is like Django. Djibouti, Django, same thing. So... which is like a different-ish language. So my mind went to the fact that my wife is semi-learning Filipino, or one of the Filipino languages, which made me think that, because I remember making a comment to her saying, what, now I have to learn that so we can teach our children that, or what? Like, what's going on? And then remembering that I need to learn French so that my children, when I have them, won't be able to keep secrets from me by speaking a different language. Because my wife is French. So I've explained this before and I'll explain it again. My wife was born and raised here. And, or where we live. So I travel 20 minutes from where we live to where I work. And, because I'm not giving you guys locations, because I don't know some of you. You don't need to know where I live. So she took French immersion, but it was so pushed that her English now suffers. Like her family, I don't even think is French. I know they speak some French, but it is to the point where her native language of English has suffered because of the French. So she's like, I don't know the English word for this. I'm like, can you describe the word and I can give you the English word for it? And I feel like she's losing her French. So if she has someone to speak to in French, because she doesn't have anybody to speak to in French right now, that if she has somebody to speak French to, that it'll help her keep her French strong, and it will help me so that we can have bilingual children. Because the thing is learning French in Canada is an asset, because if you can speak French, you get paid more. Because if you are completely bilingual and have like a certificate of bilingual or whatever, being bilingual, like she graduated with her certificate of like her French immersion or what, I don't know how it worked because I never took French. So, which was bad on my part. I should have. I didn't pay attention in French class. In English, no. I never took, no, let's try that again. I didn't pay attention when we were learning French in elementary school. Therefore, I did not take French when I went into middle school. But we didn't really have French in my middle school because I went to a private school. And then I didn't take, well, we did have French, but I didn't take it. And then I didn't take French when I hit high school either, because I wouldn't have been able to, because I didn't have any foundation to work on. Therefore, no French for Darcy. And the thing is that I come from French family. Like, my whole family is from New Brunswick, which is a completely bilingual province. So, I'm screwed. I wish my parents would have forced me to take French. But my parents were really, really cool and didn't make me do things I didn't want to do. Well, they did, because, you know, you're a kid, you gotta eat your vegetables or whatnot. I remember my mom calling broccoli the super vegetable, and that's why I loved it so much, because I love superheroes, so yeah. And broccoli's just really good for you, so I still love broccoli to this day. I love broccoli. But yeah, like, I wish I would have learned French more, because my cousins all knew French. Like, they were born and raised in New Brunswick, where they taught French every class. Like, it was French, English, that's what it is. All my aunts and uncles speak fluent French. I don't speak French. And I'm at a disadvantage at this point, because I don't know when either they don't know they're doing it, or they're just trying to make it so that I don't hear what they're saying, because they know I don't speak French. They talk in French. I don't know if they just, because that they don't realize they're speaking French, or if they're just trying to keep something from me. But that's why I keep Lena around when I'm there, and I'm like, what are they saying? Are they trying to keep something from me? Lena's my little translator. And the thing is, though, that my family speaks New Brunswick French. My wife speaks Parisian French. So to her, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, she doesn't understand a lot of the slang that my family uses. So she's like, I'm pretty sure this is what they're saying, but they're using a lot of slang that I don't understand. Or they just pronounce things a lot differently than how I would. Not that any French language is better than the other. Though, you know, Paris, France, where, you know, French is from, I would assume is the proper French. Just like there's proper English, which is the Queen's English. So England English. That's the proper English. We speak the only word I can say that's it's people consider this a swear word. It's not a swear word. It's just used as a curse, but a bastardized version of English is what we use. Some people would say modified, but no, we've pretty much gutted the language from its original roots. So that's why there's like US English and then England English, because that is the proper English. That is England, you know, is where English comes from. Just like French comes from France. It's named after where it's from. Therefore, Parisian French would be your proper French, and every other version of French is a variant, maybe, if you don't like the other word. But yeah, that's... Welcome to Linguistics with Darcy. Kid Charming presents Linguistics. You know, like Italian comes from Italy. I'm just saying it only makes sense. Anyway, I should get in there. I can turn these off now. I should get in there now. I have I know every time I move, though, like, it's really loud because I listen to this on the way home to get the, yeah, it's 1:45. I have small hands. Because I listen to this on the way home so that I can get the title. And I know the titles are just great, aren't they? I just can't think of anything. Sometimes they seem clickbaity, but that's not how I mean it. But yeah. So every time I move, I know the loud sound that it makes, so I do apologize for that. Eventually, I'm going to get a mic to go at the end there instead of the lapel mic. As much as I love my lapel mic, don't get me wrong, but having like a little mic that comes towards me this way would be probably a little bit better. That way I can move around and not have to worry. And I don't have like cords for days. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. I work regular tomorrow, which is great. We are one step closer to Christmas. So yeah, on Saturday I get to go see Miss Linda Cable at her work, which is my old work, where she will be giving us our Christmas gifts, which I don't have hers yet. But yeah, I will catch you guys later. Keep charming out.